to our weekly Satsang. Today we're going to touch on a topic of confusion among some devotees. I see that there's a lot of confusion about the path of wisdom and the path of love. I see this all the time. People say, I tell them things like, look, if you don't want self-realization every minute, then you're just not going to get there. And then they hear that, and then they say, oh, well, what about my devotion to Swami and this and that? And so they get confused. So I just wanted to cover that today because there's some interesting stories given by Swami and others that will help you to understand this better. The first story, see, what happens is we think that the path of wisdom is separate and the path of devotion is separate, but actually they're just like right and left hands or right and left legs that we walk on. They're not really separate from each other. Once the Swami shared this story, and I think it's a very appropriate one for today. The story goes like this. Once Sri Krishna was resting along the banks of the river Yamuna. He was an adult. This was when he was grown up. And a devotee, seeing him from a distance, came running up to the Lord. And he said, Lord, he gave his pranams and his respects and everything. And afterwards, he said, Lord, I want to ask you a question. And Sri Krishna smiled and he said, well, what is it? Ask. And he said, I heard that you had said that there are 3 types of devotees. Can you please explain this to me? Now, at this point, they were standing next to the river banks. And in many rivers, there'll be river rocks. Those smooth, round rocks that are commonly found in rivers. So the Lord asked the devotee to pick up one of these stones from the river. The devotee did that, and he said, now I want you to break this stone. And now, rocks are hard to break, but I don't know what happened, but I imagine it's like, have you seen Swami breaking coconuts? He just goes pachak like this, and then the coconuts break. So I'm sure that with Sri Krishna's grace, he just did like this, and that devotee banged the stone on some other rock, it broke into 2. And Sri Krishna said, tell me about the stone. What is on the outside? What's on the inside? And the devotee said, well, the stone was in the water of the river, so it's all wet on the outside, but inside the stone is dry. And Sri Krishna said, this is the first type of devotee. They have devotion on the outside, but inside their hearts are still as dry as this stone. Okay, understood? This is the first and the most common type of devotees you'll see in all religions, all spiritual practices. It's not bad, it's just that, we grow as we go along the spiritual path. So it's nothing bad, but Sri Krishna is saying this is the first type. Okay, second type. So at that time, Sri Krishna happened to be they were standing by the edge of the river, and the edge of Sri Krishna's dhoti had fallen into the water, and it had gotten wet. So Sri Krishna showing this to the devotee, he picked up his garment, and again with his divine grace, the wind blew, and the wet garment became dry. And Sri Krishna said, this is like the second type of devotee. As long as they're in good places, as long as they're having good company, then they have that devotion. But the moment you take them out of satsang, out of good company, out of these good places, they become dry. This is the second type of devotee. And I think that all of you have recognized this in your own sadhana as well. We see this very, very commonly, especially among Sai devotees. As long as they're doing their sadhana, as long as they're going to the Sai Samiti or the Sai Center, as long as they go to Puttaparthi and other religious places, everything is fine. But you take them out of that environment, and then, they go dry. It's not a judgment, it's not a criticism, but we have to recognize this so that we can see how we can improve. Okay? Got this, right? Then Sri Krishna said, now let me explain the third type of devotee. And Sri Krishna said, give. The devotee was like, give that prasadam you got from the temple. What was the prasadam? Yes? Sugar candy. We just had sugar candy before we started. So Bhuma took some sugar candy and gave it out. It was sugar candy. So Sri Krishna took that one piece of sugar candy and he dropped it into the river. What do you think happened to the hard sugar candy when it went into the water? It dissolved, right? It says, this is the fair and the best type of devotee. they lose themselves in that sweetness of the Lord. They dissolve and become one, just like this sugar candies become one with the river, they become one with the Lord. Okay. So does this make sense then? You understand? So this is the path that devotion takes you through. Initially, your devotion is like the stone, where you have some devotion on the outside, but inside that sweetness, that love, that compassion. Doesn't mean you're a softy, sweetie pushover, not like that, but that sweetness and love is not yet set its place. The second type is where that love has started to come in. The devotional practices, you clean up your inner qualities, kama, krodha, all those bad things, lust, pride, greed, anger, they have less of a hold on you. But that's only true as long as you're in good company, in good places. The moment you go out, you go back to the bad habits that you may have had before. The third type is what we all have to progress to. And this is the path that devotion leads us to, is that you become one with the Lord by dissolving into the Lord. Does that make sense? Yeah? So I remember when Swami gave the example of Narada Yogi, Narada Muni, and Swami said that Narada Muni had explained Param Bhakti, the highest type of devotion. And he said Param Bhakti, the highest form of devotion, is that devotion where the devotee loses themselves in the Lord so much so that they forget their own body. Okay? So you forget, you're just so enraptured by the Lord, that devotion, you're just so one with God that you lose your awareness of the body. So ask yourself, are you achieving this state? Are you aspiring for this state? Are you aspiring to be like that sugar candy where you dissolve into the Lord? Yeah? See how simple it is, just through a simple story. Okay? Now let's look at the other path, the path of wisdom. Again, people get confused, especially those who are more intellectually oriented. What happens is they tend to become dry when they go along the path of wisdom. No, they become very intellectual. They try to intellectualize everything. Oh, it's all Maya, it's not true, it's not real. Not realizing, they try to push away the Maya as if it's a bad thing. The problem with that approach is they start to think that this earth is like some kind of prison planet that they have to escape. They need to escape from this earth and to get away from it. That's the stupidest thing. You're here to become a master. Okay? You're here to become a master on the physical plane, emotional plane, mental plane, and spiritual plane. That means you have to take care of all of these things. Your health insurance. You have to go to the dentist. You have to get your car maintained. You have to make sure your bathrooms and kitchens are clean and do your pest extermination. You have to discipline your kids or your maids. This is part of life. You're meant to be a master on all levels. Okay? But what people along this wisdom path do is they say, oh, it's all Maya, and they want to run away. Guess what happens to those people? They become yogis, and the next birth, they're reborn as householders. Mostly people who are watching this video are here. That's how it works, That's just how it is. So when you try, you think that it's all Maya, no, chichi, it's all bad, I don't want it. And next birth, you're born in some hospital in the city and you stay a householder forever. That's how it works. Like, man. I remember Swami once asked me, he said, do you want to get married? This is before, obviously, we got married. He didn't say anything. In my thoughts, though, when Swami asked me, I said no, Swami. And then immediately in my thoughts, I said, marriage is for idiots. Swami, knowing everything, he smiled. He just smiled. Then he said, but what about Shivani? And I was like, what? I didn't know. I said, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Whatever stage state you're in, whatever phase of life you're in, you're meant to be that master. All of you are meant to be masters. And the characteristics of masters is that they embrace everything. They embrace everything. You don't push it away. What many of you are doing is you're saying, life is too hard, I wish it wasn't this way. Right? Instead, you should be saying, Swami, life is hard, help me to be better. Help me to be more of a master. See the difference? Life is going to be hard. It doesn't matter what loka or planet you're on, life is going to be hard anyway. Instead of praying and complaining that the difficulties are removed, you pray to Swami that you become more of a master, so that the challenges become easier. Yeah. This is the mistake that many people on both paths make. They think, life, Chi-Chi, I want to escape, I just want to achieve moksha, and I want to go away from here and never be reborn. And guess what? Next birth, pacha, they're back here again. Now on the path of wisdom or devotion, you have to realize that you won't reach the end unless you really, 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 really want it. Why? Because you will get distracted. You will get distracted. If you don't, if you want something else too, plus self-realization, Swami will give that, or he will offer it to you, and you will get distracted.
I didn't understand. Can you elaborate?
You're walking along the path, okay? Self-realization is in front of you, but you have a desire that's hidden. Let's say you desire sweets. Let's say somebody desires to be famous. Somebody wants a big house, a big car, a big salary, fancy vacations. Someone wants sex. They want a pretty husband or a handsome, pretty wife or handsome husband, or maybe they want a pretty husband, whatever it is. They want all these things. But they said, no, I've given it up, I've given it up, I've given it up. But they've not really given it up. And so you're walking along the path of self-realization, and that distraction comes to you, and you take a detour. Gone. Next birth, you'll think, Hare, why did I take birth? This is what happens. And I see it over and over and over again amongst devotees. You have to want it so bad that you don't want. You have to want it more than anything else. More than anything else. I've told this story many times, but it's worth repeating. Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to tell this story. He said once a devotee, a sadhaka, was in Varanasi, and he was going along with his master to take a holy bath in the sacred Ganga river. Okay, so there's certain rituals that they do in the morning to spiritually and physically clean themselves in the sacred Ganga. And while they're doing their prayers to the river, the student, the disciple, asks the master, Master, how much do we want self-realization? And the master said, you really want to know? And the student said, yes, master, more than anything else. Please tell me. Immediately the master grabbed the top of the Sishya's head, the disciple said, and he pushed him underwater. Before he could even think anything, he pushed him underwater, and the disciple is spluttering and probably swallowing water, and he thinks he's just about to drown, and just before he thinks he's gone, the master pulls him back up out of the water into the air, and the disciple is sputtering for breath. And after a few minutes, when he finally catches his breath, the master asked him, how much did you want to take your next breath? And the disciple said, more than anything, otherwise I would die. And what do you think the master said? He said, that's how much you must desire self-realization. This is the gap that many devotees fall into. This is the gap. Now, here the confusion comes, because some people say, well, but Swami says that when we pray to him, we should only pray for him, right? We shouldn't pray for this or that, because in Swami's hand is everything. And when we pray for Swami, whatever we need, whether it's health or this or that or strength or whatever we need, it comes automatically. Swami will give to us. So Swami says, just pray only for him. Then why should we desire self-realization? Hare Buddhu, no, don't be stupid. Both are the same. When you know that you are the self, you'll know that you and Swami are one and the same. Correct. When you know that you have Swami, you will know that you and Swami are one and the same. It's not any different. Is that clear? Yeah? This confusion happens a lot, and it's because you're not doing enough sadhana. That's why you get confused. You're not doing enough sadhana. So the lesson from today is do more sadhana. Have that one singular goal to achieve the self, to realize the self. What will happen is initially you will get glimpses of the self and say, this is it. This is what I heard about. And then your mind will get distracted again and you'll turn this way. And then again you will lose that glimpse of the self. And until you desire only that self more than anything else, you won't get it. That's the rules of the game. I'm telling you the rules. When you're born, there are no rules. Nobody gives you the rules. This is how the game is played. You have to want that self-realization. You can say, I want to be one with Swami. I want to know that Swami and I are the same. I want to know that I want to have Swami every minute in my life. However words you want to put it, but it has to be more than anything else. At the same time, you don't be stupid and try to push away the world, saying, I won't do my duties, I won't do my work, I won't do this or that. Our Swami is very strict. He's the strictest taskmaster. He expects perfection in everything that we do, whether it's your clothes, your work, your studies, your finances, how you take care of your family, how you take care of yourself. He expects perfection. So do everything with that perfection. God is perfection, you also be perfection, right? But you have to have that one desire. And this is where devotees get stuck all the time. They go to the end, they can see self-realization, they can see Swami standing in front of them, waiting to take you by the hand. But there's a distraction here, and they go twing like this. And they come off the path over and over and over again. For thousands of births, you can make the same mistake. Don't make this mistake in this janma. Okay, what questions do you have?
So how do you look out for these distractions, or how?
See, there's two ways. One is, what's occupying your thoughts? You're going for a walk, you're taking a shower, you're sitting in the car, or you're driving the car. What's occupying your thoughts? Look at that. What's waking you up in the middle of the night? The thoughts that you're worried about. Look at that, right? You're still holding on to it and you haven't yet given it to Swami, whatever it is that you're worried about. Yes? Now don't go too extreme the other way. We see devotees who are like, no, this is all Maya, I should be detached, I won't enjoy, I won't listen to anything but bhajans. Right? I won't go to any movies, I won't smile. You know, this is how some devotees think, no? That is also stupid. Don't make this mistake. Swami wants you to be the master, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. That means that you should enjoy whatever it is. How Swami used to enjoy plays, you know? I remember once there was a play, Swami was watching, and it was a group of primary school students on the stage, and one of the boys, dhotis started to come down like this. And Swami was just laughing and laughing and laughing. How much he enjoyed himself, you know, that boy's dhoti coming down. This was the days before we had ready-made dhotis. Oh my goodness, he just laughed and laughed. I remember one time, I was in Parthi, and Swami had called a group of people from I think they were from the Netherlands, one of the Norwegian countries, or Scandinavian countries, sorry. And, you know, by genetically, they're very tall. So Swami called them to the room, and there was one very tall lady. So Swami went like, she's coming into the room, Swami goes like this, no? Saying to her, like, because she's so tall, bend your head, because otherwise you'll hit her. And everyone just laughed, seeing Swami. You know, tell them, Swami is only 5 feet. Swami says he's 5 feet tall, he's 5'2" with hair. That's what Swami said. This lady was like 6 feet 5 or something. So you can see the difference, but we just laughed and laughed. So be like that. Don't become too serious in your sadhana. Please don't make that mistake. But you have to want to know the self more than anything else. And I tell you, when you know the self, you will just revel in that bliss, that ananda of knowing the self. You will just be in that state of the self, and there's nothing to desire, there's nothing you require, there's no past, there's no mistakes, There's nothing wrong that you have done. There's nothing bad that you have done. It all is nothing more than a faint dream that happened a long time ago. You're just the self, and you'll just want to explore that self because it's never ending. It's not that it's infinite, it's just pure consciousness, it's pure awareness, and that's all that you need. You don't need anything else because none of this exists apart from being in your mind. That's the goal that you have to reach. And you'll all reach there if you give up these desires. Other questions? I hope I scared you enough today. Yeah?
I think when fears come, I feel like I can see myself going back into personhood a lot. So where I feel sometimes when that grip is too much of fear or something that's causing anxiety or something, at that moment I'm not able to think of, I'm not able to remember anything of this.
Because you're holding on to something, right?
Yeah.
You're still attached to those old memories of what happened in the past. Can you replace those fearful memories with love?
Yeah.
Whatever happened, happened. No? We all had bad things happen to us. No one has lived in a cocoon where only good things has happened. No? We've all experienced bad things. That's life. But can you look at those bad things also with love and surround them and fill them with love? Do your cutting ties, all those things. Yeah, but when the memories are there, look at the whatever, but look at it with love. It won't have been good. It doesn't mean you have to condone what happened or bless what happened, but can you bless the learnings that you got from them? Can you try that? See, whatever it is in you that happened in the past, you have to stop letting it hold you down. It's like carrying big rocks in your pockets. You won't move very comfortably. When you see yourself coming to the past, bless that situation. And then move on. Don't stay there in the past.
I remember once you said when a fear comes, just smile at it.
Just smile at the fear.
But I keep forgetting to smile. I forget that one thing. It feels so good when I remember that, but when it comes, I just forget that, I could have just smiled and just, not let it have that much power.
See, whatever the emotion is, whether it's fear, anger, lust, pride, greed, whatever it is, as you progress, suddenly you'll see these thoughts come up or these desires come up and you're like, where did that come from, right? Dig deeper, go deeper into where it has come from and see what happened. And then learn to let go of it, analyze. This is the analysis part, the inquiry part of sadhana that you have to become very good at. Where did this come from? What's the root cause of this? What am I lacking that makes me want to have this particular thing? Again, whether it's pride, lust, greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, envy, sloth, whatever the characteristics are, fear. Learn to analyze it and let go of it. Don't be indulgent. Slice it off like a surgeon would slice off a tumor and get rid of it. You're all meant to realize the self in this birth itself. Everyone on this planet. And this is a unique time. When Prema Sai comes, he'll give darshan, maybe somewhat similar to Satya Sai, but there'll be a bazillion people around him. Everybody will come to Prema Sai. And we ordinary householders will be sitting in the back, and in front will be a sea of orange and a sea of white. The white will be people from certain sects, Jain monks and others. The oranges will be the sadhus and sadhvis. They'll be sitting all around Prema Sai. We'll be in the back. But what will happen is Prema Sai, his darshan will be different. He will at different times in the avatarhood, not all the time, but at different times, he will just raise the consciousness of the entire planet. And everyone, anywhere they are, can have his darshan. Okay? Don't wait for that time to come. Do it now. Right? Do it now so that you have Swami's darshan wherever you are, wherever you're going. Don't wait for some 20 years into the future or whatever it is. Do it now. Learn to have that darshan now.
I think every situation that we go through, I now actually ask myself, what is the gift of opportunity I learn from the situation? Because I think every situation is a gift for us to learn. And that's when I bless the situation and I let go.
Yeah, every situation has a gift and just bless it.
Yeah,
Move
bless.
on. You can, when you pay your bills every month, bless your money that you're getting out. When you get your salary from your work, bless the money as it comes into your account. When you're paying your EMIs or your rent or your mortgage loans or whatever, bless that amount that's going. Whatever you're doing, bless it so that it goes with it. When you receive food items into your house, let's say Big Basket or whatever delivery service you use, Amazon sends you something, bless that also. So whatever, get into that habit of blessing, sending Swami's blessings to everything around you, whatever you receive and whatever you send out, so that your whole life becomes this type of blessing and you become a blessing to others.
Blessing in the sense gratitude.
Just bless how Swami would bless.
Just,
Yeah. I remember when Swami was there, I would see him go around in darshan. Sometimes he'd raise his hand like this, right? Remember? With my vision, I would see so much light, pew, like this. Just in a flash, it would come like that. So much light would come from his hands. And when he raised both hands, it was like a flood of light coming from him. So that's the intensity with which Swami would bless. Now, you bless in whatever way is appropriate for you, but let that be a blessing. I remember Swami would do the same thing with his eyes. So I would see coming from his eyes a stream of light as well. And it was a blessing to me to be able to see this, but I could see that whatever his eyes were falling upon would be blessed as well. Just one look by the avatar is enough to bless you for the rest of your life. That's the power of the avatar's blessing. But you do that also, right? Again, don't wait for Prema Sai to come and do that. You do that now. So whatever you're receiving, wherever you're going, wherever you're looking upon, send Swami's blessing. Not your blessings, Swami's blessings. Okay, so you all have a lot of practice to do. Yes? Okay. Practice, practice, practice. Share your practices with each other. Share your failures with each other also, because people will give you ideas on how to get past them. Yeah? Don't think that you have to come here and be perfect, because none of us are. We all have our successes and failures. Learn from them and share your ideas so that somebody else can help you with areas that you're struggling. And I'm sure that you'll be able to help them in places where they're struggling as well. Great. Wonderful. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.